I bought it so you don't have to. This is the 2022 Hyper Orb of Agony. It's currently converting my life force into dark matter. Would not recommend.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, good morning, BBs.
God.
It is too early.
You can see all of our shame on the desk.
No, by shame, do you mean our life-giving proteins and snacks?
There's not an ounce of protein on this
Sugar
table.
is protein now?
You abandoned that halfway through.
Sugar is protein now. It's too early. Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
I'm just letting Instagram know that we're live.
I'm just eating some mini M&Ms.
Listen, have we
Right from a bottle.
had a week? Shut up about it.
It was only Wednesday.
I last night I nearly posted this thing and I was like, this is too dark. I thought it was very funny though. I made myself dinner and it was just stir fry and I took a picture of it and I was like, and I was gonna post, made myself some stir fry. That's why I call it Stir Friday. I don't keep track of days of the week anymore and I don't understand how anyone can in these dark and horrible times.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm not gonna post that.
But thank you for bringing it here for us.
Yeah, the BBs get it.
Hannah Watermelon asked, are there green M&Ms in there? Look, you cannot make this about trying to fuck my breakfast.
Hey. Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
And they're hot. They're hot.
Nothing will ever
And
be
they're-
normal again.
And their footwear is good for their arches. Their plantar fasciitis is almost gone. And they're ready to fuck.
Put that on my Hinge profile.
My plantar fasciitis is almost gone. And I'm ready to fuck.
I promise it's a new show. Hi, in case it's your first time here, good morning. It's gonna be, I think it's gonna be this today.
Hey, could we just vibe today for once?
For once.
Can we for once just
For
vibe?
once, we're going to abandon our extremely structured outline for the show. You may think that a lot of this is off the cuff. No, our entire show is typically scripted and outlined to a T.
Could we just vibe for once?
But
Is all
for
I'm asking.
once, I think we're gonna wing it today.
So far this morning, out of Saige's snacks, I've had little Oreos,
Uh-huh.
Nutter Butters,
Uh-huh.
fruit snacks,
Mhm.
and a couple little fun-sized candy bars.
Yeah.
My tummy is gonna be so mad at me.
You are just like Dagger. He learns it from you, Anthony.
From
He
you.
learns it from watching you.
Hey, where's producer Dagger?
They're just two sweet little guys with a delicate constitution that won't stop eating things that hurt their stomach.
Where the hell is producer Dagger? Did we accidentally leave him in the living room?
Y'all. Oh, here he is. Hey. He was under the desk. He was probably scavenging for your fucking scraps. Like you taught him to do.
That's right, everybody. Look,
Mhm.
shut up.
Correct.
Let's do the news.
All right. Yeah. Let's get into it. Where do we fucking start? Now, it's seeming pretty bleak today.
No.
So far.
No. Here's. Let's shut.
I mean, maybe
everybody, shut up. Here's what we're gonna do, everybody.
Should we start with big news?
No. What you wanna do is you wanna start with the lowest, most boring news possible, and then work your way up. So 2 hours from now, after all the boring stuff, we really ramp up to it.
An
That's
hour and a
how-
half show.
That's how attention spans work.
Okay, let's start with the big news.
Listen, I think I know a lot about doing show.
Y'all, in what feels like, but can't be a direct response to Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard, Sony said, okay, then we'll buy Bungie. I know that's not how these deals work. I totally understand. These things have been in the work for probably, I don't know, many months.
You know they don't Halo anymore, right? You know you're not getting Microsoft back for anything.
But
it's like if they're gonna buy Call of Duty, then we'll
buy
Halo.
No, you won't.
No, that's not it.
No, they can't.
No, obviously Bungie makes Destiny, which is a big moneymaker.
Absolutely. Which
Uh,
I do feel like still feels like sticking it to Microsoft.
look,
Taking Bungie.
this is what we're seeing now.
Taking Destiny.
We're seeing a big war over what independent companies remain. Like, that's basically what we're seeing. We're seeing a total consolidation over the next 5 to 10 years of large and mid-sized studios, for good or ill. And I personally believe for ill, but capitalism disagrees. And when has capitalism ever been wrong?
Us and capitalism disagree frequently. So Sony is currently entered into an agreement to purchase Bungie for $3.6 billion. That's too many dollars, man.
I think that's too many, because that's like half an Activision.
Mm-hmm.
And admittedly, they were getting Activision on fire sale because, things have not been great at Activision. So Microsoft really got a deal there. But I gotta say, that feels like too many.
That feels like too many dollars.
Because okay, Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What else?
The guys who worked on Halo once.
I mean, look, Destiny. I love Destiny.
Yeah.
After we did Failed Save on Friday night, you can still catch the VOD. It's a brilliant show. We're amazing.
We all held hands.
We all held hands afterwards, and we talked about Destiny. And that's only partially a lie.
That's true.
Do you remember when we were all sitting around and we started screaming about Destiny?
I remember that. I remember making fun of you for it.
Yeah. Because we love Destiny. Now, they could have other things going on. They could. From what they've made it sound like over the last, 5 to 7 years, they've basically just been all hands on Destiny. But Destiny's, the tech is there. They're just adding new content. Like, maybe they're working on something secret, something big.
It's entirely possible.
Something huge.
Which would make sense for this $3.6 billion price tag. I'm mid-Dorito. When I see a number like $3.6 billion.
It is I, Midrito. $3.6 billion. Go on.
I think what is worth $3.6 billion? And that is billion with a B. Thank you for asking to clarify, chat.
I think, Conan, what is best in life? What is worth $3.6 billion? I mean, listen, I keep saying this because this is what blows my mind. You really, listen, when you're buying one of these companies or you're buying one of these things, you got to do it when they don't want to be in charge of it anymore, right?
Right.
So they got Activision. I mean, we're thinking 8.6 for Activision.
Mm-hmm.
That's less than Activision's probably worth. But I always measure these things up to how many Star Wars is that?
Yes.
That's like 2 Star Wars.
That is to all of Lucasfilm.
Yeah. Listen.
Like, LucasArts, Lucas everything.
Listen, the man in the hat with the whip. That's a Lucasfilm. You got that in the deal too. We'll throw that in.
Just threw it in. It's got a ride at Disneyland, and it's just thrown in.
All the home video rights to the original 1980s Howard the Duck. We'll just bless you. We'll just throw that in. You want Willow? We'll give you Willow.
I'm allergic to billions of dollars.
2 whole Lucasfilms.
Yeah. For Destiny. And
Wild.
Potentially more. I also understand that there is more to it than simply what the games they contain. There is, I'm sure, a very, very valuable team there. I'm sure there is valuable technology that they're acquiring in doing so. It's just too many dollars in my opinion. It's not even a comment on Bungie for me. I just think $3.6 billion is too many dollars.
It's too many Listen, the entire video games industry right now, mergers and acquisitions deals within the game industry in 2021, we're up to $26.2 billion. That means that's not the value of the video games industry. That's how much money in mergers and acquisitions happened in the video games industry last year. I think I turned that heater off like a minute too soon.
Yeah, you did, man.
That's huge. That is huge. We're watching all of these things happen. I mean, Microsoft, after buying Activision, is only going to be the third largest video game company in the world.
Right.
We're watching massive media consolidation.
Yeah, I mean, Tencent. Yeah. Want to talk about too many dollars?
Look, Take-Two bought Zynga for $11 billion.
Now that's wild. Let's actually revisit that number one more time.
Sure. Take-Two.
Sony has purchased Bungie.
Yeah.
The team that worked on Halo and currently does Destiny for $3.6 billion. Microsoft purchased Activision Blizzard for, what was it? $8.6 billion. But Zynga.
Listen.
Zynga was $11 billion. Like,
Yeah,
we talked about this at the time.
That's Yoville money.
I mean, if my account was still active, I'd have hella Yoville money.
That's Yoville money, dog. That's how much money it is. 6.8, not 8.6.
6.8, thank you. I don't number so good.
I number the best. I number better than anybody. Don't tell me. I'll tell you.
Wait, 68. You're saying 68, dude.
68 billion?
We literally covered this and don't remember anything.
No, not 68 billion.
We covered this and don't remember anything.
That's not true. That's not true. That's too many.
You can't question the reality.
That's not true. Wait, 75. Yeah, all cash deal valued at roughly 75 billion. That's too many. I'm sorry, I just can't conceptualize all these numbers.
That's too much money.
It's too much money, dude.
That's not true. That's impossible. Y'all, stop it. Consolidation is bad. Capitalism is evil. And monopoly, apparently not illegal. The loopholes are fucking tunnels.
When we finally track down that Monopoly guy,
Uh-huh.
Uncle Moneybags,
Oh, well, I have some fucking words.
we'll get him.
That's really it. Now, this does make a lot of...
$69 billion? What the fuck, man? That's too many dollars. Nobody should be able to buy anything that costs that much.
I agree, but also I'm setting that bar much lower. I'm saying $3.6 billion is too many dollars.
Yo, pay my rent. Hey, capitalism, just pay my rent.
That's the opposite of capitalism.
I know.
But it makes sense that Sony is making this acquisition right now.
Corporations are people just like us. Saige.
I'm gonna try a third time.
Corporations are people just like us.
I'm gonna try a third time. It makes sense that Sony is making this acquisition now, as PlayStation just said that they are trying to make 10 fucking stop live service games by 2026. That's in the next 4 years, in case you weren't keeping track of years like us.
Hey, corporations is just
God
people.
damn it, Anthony.
They're, they have Starbucks. They have their Starbucks cups, and they're on their way to the Whole Foods, which are also people. And they buy each other for like $60 billion. And it's all fine, man, because they're just people. They're just people legally. You're a person. I'm a person. Tencent's a person. Microsoft is a person. We're all just people, Saige. What if we could all just find common ground? You know what I mean?
What the fuck are you doing? Take the beanie off. You're not allowed to wear beanies for the show anymore. Squeezing your fucking brain. Jesus Christ.
Live studio audience says, I thought Saige was a spider. That's just a rumor.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't even think it's a rumor. I've never heard that before.
Spiders are just people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be called Spider-Man. We're just vibing today.
This is not what I meant by vibing. We had two very different ideas of what vibing looked like today, and I'm just All right, here we are.
We're just vibing. Tell me about these live service games Sony wants to make.
You see, I've been trying to. 10 live service games in 4 years. They said, through close collaboration with Bungie and the PlayStation Studios, we aim to launch more than 10 live service games by the fiscal year ending in March 31st, 2026. So,
Hey, I think
almost
that's
exactly the next 4 years.
I think that's a bad idea.
But I mean, that honestly,
I think live service games they're not going to implode, but we're seeing more and more of them shut down. These are very expensive experiments to run. We've been talking about this. I think to put that many eggs into a live service basket
it does feel bold. For some reason, if Microsoft said that, I wouldn't feel like it was as bad of an idea. I just think that they have been dipping their toes in a little longer in live service games, and it was a little more of a slow build. But for them to be like, in the next 4 years, we want 10. It does make a little more sense of the Bungie acquisition because, I mean, live service game is something that they're uniquely qualified in. But I don't know.
Jade Cocoon Online.
Perfect.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, they don't have Spyro anymore. Spyro's Microsoft now. Spyro's Team Green. Wow.
We talked about Spyro's Jump Around last week.
Spyro's Jump Around was for the GBA, and it's one of the ones that not a lot of people played. But I'll tell you what, Spyro's Jump Around, it wasn't just shovelware. It meant something to me. 10 live service games. It's too many.
In 4 years.
And
that's
just one platform. That's one platform holder doing it.
That I agree that it's too many. I also think that, like, to some extent, the success of something like specifically a live service game relies on its like ability to trend socially. And you can't have 10 games trending socially, PlayStation.
Well, and
your base isn't going to do that.
And they have to trend socially for a long period of time. These are not short ad campaigns. These are consistent. I mean, it's consistent advertising, it's consistent branding, it's consistent content. It's a lot. And there are only so many people that want to play live service games in the world. There are a lot of them, but there are only so many, and a lot of them, like we've talked about, have already found the one that they're sticking to for now.
Kaylin Rohr in the live studio audience says, are they just hoping to cast a wide net and hope that one sticks? That's the vibe I get from this. Because exactly, you really do only need one to stick. And I mean, obviously they're acquiring Destiny, so in theory that is one of them, but they said to launch more than 10, so I guess that's not counted against the 10, but they do hope that that will be one of their live service games financially.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we're talking about media consolidation, we're talking about the size of games and all this stuff right now. Like, this is what we're talking about. Conceptualizing somebody buying something for $69 billion. Nice, 420, blaze it. And we're like, how does that happen? You can't possibly spend that much money. They're spending like Hollywood big business money. They are like, we're going to start 10 live service games. We're going to fuck around, see what happens.
Yeah.
And if one of them turns into the next franchise, then it will be worth the billions of dollars we paid to start 10 live service games. And
I mean, if they can get something that's on the level of the, live version of Call of Duty, if they can get something that's on the level of Fortnite, that would be it, That's it. They want to get something that sticks like Fortnite.
And of course, games are made by people who want to be paid and who want to be treated like people, which has been a major problem as the industry grows. I don't know if you've heard, which is why I want to jump to this lovely announcement that happened this morning. A bunch of big designers who have worked on things like Journey, What Remains of Edith Finch, Sky, the Children of Light.
Love Journey.
Skyrim, all the skies.
Every Sky. They worked on the Sky.
Every Sky.
And honestly, looking pretty good.
Have left to start their own studio called Gardens.
Ooh.
Gardens. Let's see if this works.
No.
The answer is no.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Here we go.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Gardens is a studio that is going to be completely remote forever.
Yes.
And they want it to be a company that makes games that foster community and also creates community and lifts up the community of developers that work for them. There's a bunch of really good folks.
Oh, no. No.
There's a bunch of really good folks. We're looking at Chris Bell, who, of course, worked on Journey and Edith Finch and a whole bunch of amazing games over at Sony and Giant Sparrow. We got Lexi Dostal as their technical director and narrative director Stephen Bell. They just want to treat their people like people. They say, with Gardens, we wanted to create a studio that cares as much about the health, happiness, and well-being of its team members as we do the craftsmanship of the games we create together. Our top priority is making sure our teammates enjoy their lives and are given the tools and resources to grow while creating compelling, well-crafted, thoughtful games that cultivate novel, shared experiences between players online. These are the people that made Journey saying that, so they know how to make fun online stuff.
Yeah, Journey fucking slaps.
Sky had great social features as well. I think it had limited exposure because of the iOS thing and the fact that it launched on Apple Arcade. This is going to be wonderful. They released with this good art and this
Which looks very Journey.
And this good Corey Schmidt's logo.
Tars here in the live studio audience said, Gardens, when you're here, you treat it like an actual person.
Yeah.
It's like the Olive Garden.
For games. It's like the Olive Garden for games is what we're saying.
Endless PTO instead of endless, breadsticks.
They're promising to put transparency, health, and an inclusive work environment first with equitable pay, mentorship, and a continued commitment to diversify the voices within. I've known Chris Bell for years. He is a wonderful and thoughtful designer as well as a wonderful and thoughtful dude, and I am very excited to see this studio open. They are currently recruiting for art and engineering positions. If you're somebody who works in the industry, maybe you're in a cubicle right now.
Ooh!
Maybe you're going to get your bonus token from Big Daddy Middle Manager, and you're like, I'm dying.
Maybe you could actually have a nice job.
Why not head to the Olive Garden for games and take their tour of Italy? That's where you get 3 courses and benefits.
3 courses and dental insurance. Yep, that makes perfect sense. Y'all, while we were offline on Monday, a big moment in games happened. You see, it's like the breaking news thing, but it's 3 days late. Wordle was purchased, of course, by the New York Times. I'm sure you heard all about it.
That's like when my mom sends me gaming news.
Yeah.
That's like what it is.
It's
Hey.
kind of how it is when anybody sends me gaming news. I'm like, we talked about it. We did
already
it. I
did
promise. I promise we did it.
Can I
Not
tell-
you, BBs, because
you, BBs.
y'all fucking nail it in the Discord. I don't want to talk about what's happening on the desk. Y'all nail it in the Discord. Y'all are so on top of it, probably more than we are.
The worst thing to me, and perhaps you feel this too, I'm just going to go ahead. This is a little bit of, maybe this is a little too much, but
Uh-oh.
The thing that bugs me is when we cover something in a very long, ranty way on the show.
Uh-huh.
And then that afternoon, one of my friends is like, did you hear about this? And I'm like,
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm just like, oh yeah, I might have heard something about that.
Yeah.
I have a morning news show.
Right. Or people come to
How
my
dare
stream and do it, and I'm just like, please just watch the episode. I can't do it again. I
Watch-
don't have it in me.
It happened. We talked about it this morning.
I don't have it in me to do it again. I already yelled. But yeah, so Wordle was purchased by the New York Times for a 7-figure deal. We do not know what that final number was, I don't believe. But I think what's really interesting about this has been people's response to it. Anthony, have you started doing the Wordle?
Oh yeah, I'm up on the Wordle.
You do the Wordle?
Oh yeah. I'm pretty good at Wordle. I don't need to.
Anthony, I usually am I'm pretty adaptive on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm usually the first person to be like, oh, I'll try it. Absolutely. New thing, sign me up. I didn't with Wordle. I just missed it.
Yeah. I get that.
I did it for the first time yesterday.
How'd you feel about Wordle?
Got it in 3.
Hey, Mazel Tov. Well, it makes sense that the internet is feeling some sort of way about this, because we just did a whole story about how our good boy Josh Wardle created this game, wanted us to have something that we could do for free.
Created a game for his partner.
Yeah, did not expect it to turn into a big thing. Was like, I'm just going to keep this for everybody. It's a fun, free thing that we can do together every day. And then we were all very mad at the Wordle clones that were trying to take from us and steal from Josh Wardle.
Right.
And now, I don't know how. Now, I mean, listen, good for him, but I guess make your clones now.
That's true. Now that he's gotten his money, you can make your clones.
Make your clones now.
Now, look, there are sentiments that the New York Times intends to keep Wordle free. There are out of context quotes saying that it's like, for now, that make it seem a little more like dubious right away than it will be. Who knows what's going to happen with it? I'm very happy for Mr. Wordle. What are you doing?
Left or right?
I'm the mat cord. Am I too loud? I scooted my mic in a little closer. That's probably it.
You're not too loud. I'm
Okay.
just quieter.
Okay. Oh, actually, we are peaking.
No. We're okay. We're okay. That's -6. We're so good.
Okay, man.
We're so good. Let it vibe.
I hate this. I hate live tech chats. We're very happy for Mr. Wordle. Mr. Wordle made a lovely game for his partner who liked word games and now got a low 7-figure deal for it. That's fucking great.
That's great.
That's awesome. But people are so fascinating in response to it.
Where do you stand on it?
Okay, like I'm not, because I didn't get in on Wordle, I know that I don't have like the greatest opinion on it. We don't by any means love the New York Times, but he deserves to get paid for this thing that he made that's really successful.
Yeah,
so I'm in favor of it. I think it's a good thing.
I'm glad that he's making some money off of it. I'm glad that it's worked out for him. I don't know. It's weird that it happened 2 weeks after we all went to the mat so hard for him.
Well, it's unrelated, in my opinion.
It's unrelated, but it does, like, I can see why that would make it feel a little weird in people's heads. There's also this whole Words with Friends by Zynga. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's the most analogous thing I can think of, is Words with Friends came out. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, I love Words with Friends. Words with Friends is amazing. And then Zynga bought Words with Friends, and all of a sudden it was Words with Friends with ads with weird stuff.
Yes. Now, I will say, though, this is where we get into this, like, the expectations of people to not sell out, but also not survive off of the thing that they're probably putting in a lot of work to maintain.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to be that for Mr. Wordle.
No.
I don't want to be that at all. And the fact that you're like, yeah, we all went to bat for him, I do think is relevant, because I think this is exactly what we went to bat for. I think this is it. I think that, like, immediately us going to bat in this, like, hey, you can't fucking scam this guy who worked his ass off to make this thing that you all get to enjoy. And now he gets to sell it. That's right. To me.
No, I get it. No, I'm just saying, I can see where any knee-jerk reactions regarding him or the New York Times are coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
get your bag, dude.
I think that if you defended him in the argument against clone games that were scamming him, and then are upset that he sold the game, were you just enjoying being, like, you know, the hand of justice for a minute?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I think it's great. I'm glad that he made his money, and like I said, with this Asher Vollmer, who made Threes, did not get a chance to make money on Threes before 2048 came out.
Right.
And so I'm glad that there was a certain amount of protection for him, and he does get to sell this out. Or he did get to sell this to the New York Times. But like I said, now that a corporate entity owns it, Cloners, start your engines.
So a little bit of context for what the games on the New York Times websites are like, because that's in theory where it's going to be. Crosswords do require a subscription to the New York Times, but games like Sudoku are free. And something like Letterbox can be played once a day, much like Wordle, also for free. So I anticipate that it will probably continue to be free. Like, they're not going to try and put it on the same bar as the crossword.
No, but I do think we're going to see advertising in some way.
Yes.
I do think we're going to see some sort of, I mean, you don't pay 7 figures for something and then just let it do whatever.
But in theory, I mean, think about how beneficial this could be for them in just bringing people to their fucking website.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan.
And then maybe you'll get a subscription to do the crossword because you like word games.
Yeah, maybe. I'll tell you, I'm not gonna. Wink. Sorry.
Of course, the number game is free. I can't numbers. I mean, same.
Somebody in the live studio audience says the show seems very Colin and Greg inspired, and that just kind of reminds me of that tweet of the guy who's only seen The Boss Baby.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Actually,
Colin and Greg. You know how we do that Boba Fett show for Kind of Funny?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of Funny. Greg Miller is one of the guys who started Kind of Funny. Colin and Greg Live was one of their first shows.
That's great. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
What do you want?
This movie gives me big Boss Baby vibes.
You know what? This is kind of like a show. What are two people talking? These two people kind of like two others.
But also welcome.
Welcome.
And we do love Kind of Funny. We do work with them.
We do love Kind of Funny.
But
We'll
I just
literally
think
be on their
that's-
channel today.
But I just think that's really hilarious.
That's
just
very
because
funny.
Saige, yeah, I knew that Saige literally had no idea what Colin and Greg was.
I did. All
By
right.
a Boss Baby, do we mean Barrett? Yes, we do. We mean our co-host on a Kind of Funny screencast, Boba Fett. Boba Fett was fucking wild. I can't wait to talk about Boba Fett today.
We are going to have a lot. We're going to have a lot. Or did we show the spreadsheet? No, we didn't.
No.
We didn't show the spreadsheet today. Anyways, we're going to have a lot to talk about on the Kind of Funny screencast later. But continuing with a little bit of Sony and PlayStation news, there's been an update in the numbers, Anthony.
Not more numbers.
More
Saige.
numbers!
No, Saige, listen to me.
Okay.
I haven't had any caffeine.
Yeah.
We've only eaten sugar. Man, you know I won't drink that. You know I won't drink that. You know I won't drink that poison. I'll only eat Nutter Butters and Oreos. Like a health man.
Yeah. Strong take. Also, guys, don't put any spoilers in the chat. You haven't yet, but I'm just putting it there now.
The BBs
You know
know, but just as a reminder.
Just as a reminder.
The BBs they know.
The BBs they know.
The BBs they know is one of my absolute favorite songs from Encanto.
So the PlayStation 5, despite your limited access to it, has outsold the Wii U's lifetime numbers in 1 year.
I love this. The Wii U is...
The Wii U is such a funny metric to go off of for this to be a headline.
The Wii U is such a fun thing to dunk on, and people just love dunking on it. And
It's just, like, what a hilarious metric. The Wii U.
how many Wii U's is something? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I want that to just be a standardized... We now only measure failure in Wii U's.
That's one metric Wii U.
Yeah, that's a major failure. The Wii U didn't really have a chance, did it? No.
Well, that's because they made it so bad.
That's because they made a dumb thing. It's,
right.
You know, when you see a dumb thing, you know, like when you see... It's like when you see a video on your feed of like a particularly derpy animal that you know is with a family that really takes care of it, and you're just like, oh bless.
Yeah.
Oh bless, it never had a chance.
Sometimes when you look at Ghost,
Yeah.
and you just look at him and you just go, wow, there's not a thought behind those eyes.
Just made dumb, will be dumb, cannot be anything but dumb.
Now, the Wii U is the, like, how many of you had a Wii U actually
I had
in
one.
chat? I had one.
I had the fancy boy black one that was Zelda type.
Oh, I also got the black one. I thought they were all black.
No, black was the Wii U Pro.
Was it?
That had 32 gigs of internal storage.
Mine came with Splatoon, I remember.
Ooh, I love a Splatoon.
Yeah, a lot of our chat had Wii U, but also I feel like
we're on a gaming-focused platform doing a gaming-focused show.
But it's not just gaming.
Oh, no, but we're also softies.
We're softies. That's it. We're soft little weirdos.
Yeah. This is the chat room. This is the audience that is going to have a lot of Wii U's.
Yeah.
This is the... Actually, what do we have? So the stats say that we have 373 people. I don't believe it.
I mean, no, that's real now.
You're real now.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's actually more than that.
I think this is the number of Wii U's sold in North America. Mm-hmm. I think this is it. 392.
Yeah.
I think I told you my story of the Wii U launch.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so I don't know if I've told this on the air before. If I have, just tell me I'm old. We had such a problem with Nintendo at Rev 3 Games. Mm-hmm. Not their games or the people who make their games or anything. Those were all wonderful people. We had problems with the people who ran their procedures and their practices. And I remember, I think I said Adam Sessler, when he became the head of Rev 3 Games, when we brought him in, was like, I'm going to get my connections at all the platforms to give us the stuff that we need to make bigger reviews. He's like, we need a DS. We need DS games for review. We need Nintendo games for review.
Yeah.
Send us a DS. Send us a few DSs because we need to review DS games. A guy comes in with a literal briefcase handcuffed to his wrist and says, where do you want this? And I'm like, what is it? Nuclear codes? And he's like, I'm from Nintendo. I was like, what is it? Amiibos? I'm just kidding. They didn't exist yet. And they were like, this is your DS. Tell us where to install it. They wanted to drill it in and clamp it to a table.
Like the GameCubes that used to be in McDonald's?
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember those? They had the weird plastic covering over the controllers.
One controller ripped out.
Uh-huh.
Always one controller ripped out. Always first player.
Yeah.
So that was what it was like to deal with them. And so people just stopped dealing with them, right? Because the Wii was a more casual console. The DS was more like family and children. So people were like, yeah, we'll review big stuff, but fuck you. And so when the Wii U came out, they did a complete 180. They invited us to the Wii U launch event. There was a taco truck out front. I was like, oh, cool, free tacos at the Nintendo event.
Love free food at an event.
I go up and they say 8 or 32 gigabytes. And I said, in a taco? What are these, nuclear codes? And they hand me a fucking Wii U. They were just handing Wii U's out of taco trucks.
Yeah.
That's how much they wanted people to pay attention to the Wii U.
Were there also tacos?
There were also tacos.
Nice. Okay,
but they
awesome.
were in a different truck.
But you see, that's the problem. Is you put the Wii U right there, and I said, but where are the tacos?
But where are the tacos? I was hungry. I can't eat this.
Y'all, I agree that it's the softies that are all here with the Wii U. I do love that for us. We're also look, we're a little bit of niche, a little bit of Nintendo softies around here. So it makes sense that you all had Wii U's. I don't have one currently. I bought one for an X and left it when I moved out.
Because it's just a Wii U.
Because it was a Wii U. It was fine.
It's fine.
I think this
is not a brave little toaster situation.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about whether the Wii U makes its way back to me or not.
Right. I already had my Switch. I was good.
That's okay. Have your own Toy Story Wii U. I'm not here for it.
But goddamn, it's just you know what they brought back? They brought back the bad controller at game night.
Yeah.
Because think about it. You're playing on your Switch. Does anyone get a bad controller?
Everybody.
Well,
everybody gets a Joy-Con.
I guess. Everybody gets a Joy-Con. Hey, it depends on how good of a host you are. But the guest controller, where it was we'd have a Super Smash Bros. Night and you can plug in all of your GameCube controllers, but one person's got to play on the gamepad.
Yeah, one person's playing on a tablet. It's that meme of Mario Kart 8 where it's like, I'm using motion controls. Oh man. Anyway, fuck a Wii U. The Wii U sold 13.56 million units in its lifetime. And remember, as much as we'd like to think that was a short lifetime, it was 4 years. It was 4 or 5 years.
Lens rejects this news.
It was like 4 or 5 years. It took a while for them to come out with the Switch. They had to sit in the Wii U. They had to deal with what they had done for a while. Sony revealed that they sold over 17.3 million PS5s in just their first year, as of December 31st, 2021. Of course, this is not like the most surprising news. She's gone now. It's just you and me here. You and me here. She's, I'm just gonna eat these. The PS5 is on its way to being the fastest selling console of all time and the biggest selling console of all time, which will beat, if it does this, the original PlayStation, which basically made video games what they are today. And you can feel about that whatever way you want. I know I do. But that's a huge deal. And you want to talk about the original PlayStation. How you doing?
All right. I survived. My eyes hurt. Go on.
Something that I've been watching for a long time is finally out. The PSX remake of Bloodborne.
Ooh.
I've been following the developer Lilith on Twitter during the entire development process. I am very, very excited for this. It's a large chunk of the first kind of big area of Yharnam, completely recreated as though Bloodborne was a PS1 game. Now that's something.
That's something.
That's a spicy Bloodborne. Let me find a video of it because there isn't one here on the itch page, but you can see these beautiful screenshots. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it looked great.
I mean, come on.
PC Bloodborne.
Look at that, Father Gascoigne. Look at it.
Gascoigne.
Gascoigne. Gascoigne. No, it becomes a giant when wolf like Gaston.
Gascoigne.
Gascoigne. There's the girl in the window who's talking to you. I mean, it's got a lot. Look at this.
That looks excellent. That's
it looks
fun. Let's
so
play that.
good. Gascoigne. Gascoigne.
We're really full of shit today, aren't we?
We're vibing.
Hey, I could ruin the vibe.
Are you like, hey? Are you like, are you new? Are you new today?
Oh, we have so many new people for sure.
Welcome to the fucking vibe.
We have definitely some new friends.
Welcome to
chat
Vibe
today.
Day.
Welcome to Vibe Day. We do this 3 days a week, everybody.
It's not always like this.
It's not always this full of beans, but some. Anthony, should I ruin the vibe? Oh God, Anthony!
What? What happened? I was just going.
You didn't see anything. You didn't see anything.
Gascoigne. I'm going to a related story. I wanted to say, as long as you're picking up Bloodborne PSX today, remember that Resident Evil 4 HD remaster mod we talked about is out.
Yeah.
This is the one that was made by a couple of gentlemen that decided to recreate the process that Capcom used to make Resident Evil 4, by which they traveled all around Europe.
Yep.
Particularly Spain.
To the locations to take the photos, just like the original game was made.
Yep. Just taking pictures of the textures. It looks real good. I'm excited for it.
That's excellent.
Pick up the Bloodborne PSX today.
All right, now I'm gonna ruin the vibe.
Why would you do that?
Because I have no choice.
Why would you do it?
Because Evangeline Lilly made me.
Oh, the wasp. Oh, Janet Van Dyne.
Ooh, oh my. Look at that, the other show. Look, everybody.
She did a bad.
Evangeline Lilly, who plays the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp, has really lived up to the name.
Go back to the island, Kate.
Has really lived
That's
up
a
to
joke
being a
about Lost.
motherfucking Wasp.
That's a joke about Lost and how she should go back to the island.
I've not seen Lost.
That's okay. It's fine.
Evangeline Lilly attended and posted photos from a vaccine mandate protest. Fuck! Look.
So
They just...
So here's what happened. Evangeline Lilly went to Washington, D.C., and not just attended this protest against vaccine mandates, but also posted about it and posted, I was in D.C. this week to support bodily sovereignty. Fucking hate. You can't just taking things. Just taking terms. Bodily sovereignty, while Canadian truckers were rallying for their cross-country peaceful convoy in support of the same thing, I believe nobody should ever be forced to inject their body with anything against their will. Now, this trucker rally, this peaceful cross-country convoy that she's talking about, is the one in Canada in which truckers literally blocked off major roadways and caused huge problems for emergency services and an uptick in literal emergency deaths throughout Canada.
Yep.
Now, that's what Canada was doing, and she says solidarity for that, while she was in Washington saying, you can't say that I have to get a vaccine to go to school.
Because here's the thing. There is no vaccine mandate.
There's no mandate. If there was a mandate, we'd be better off.
Right. We would love that. I would love for you to have to get the vaccine. That would be great. People would stop fucking dying all over the place, goddammit, but there isn't.
I would have loved it.
You don't get to go to the restaurants? Get fucked, Evangeline Lilly.
I would have loved it if people would have worn a mask in the elevator when literal LA law said that we had to. Every day I'm in the elevator in my building wearing a mask.
You are not being oppressed. You are not being oppressed.
This is utterly ridiculous. Tons
of performers from the MCU spoke out against this, of course. Simu Liu said, I lost my grandparents to COVID last year. They were still waiting for the vaccines. I'm fortunate to have been double vaccinated and boosted when I got COVID 2 weeks ago. It felt like a cold. The media needs to stop spotlighting opinions that are not rooted in facts or science.
Yep. David Dastmalchian, who of course was in Ant-Man with her and was that good polka dot man. We love David Dastmalchian. He's a very good boy online. And he says, it's so unfortunate when people with a large platform use that platform to share irresponsible things. As well he should. So this is a very bad look for Evangeline Lilly.
Get fucked, Evangeline Lilly. I very much hope that she is recast. Because look, at some point there has to be where this doesn't come down to opinion and this comes down to people's safety.
Now, H.G. Wells 123 says celebrities share their opinions all the time. You don't have to listen to. That's true. You don't have to listen to anybody. You're a goddamn grown-up. But here's the thing. When people with large platforms use those platforms to spread harmful or incorrect rhetoric to impressionable people, younger people, maybe kids who like Marvel, or people who are not following much about the news but are like, I heard this about this.
Right. That's
the big problem. You don't use your large platform irresponsibly, and you don't use your large platform to spread misinformation.
Disinformation.
You don't give $100 million to a weird man who takes ice baths to do a podcast about incorrect things. You don't give somebody $100 million to do that.
Quasi said, isn't this like the same situation with the Black Panther actress? What's her name? Letitia Wright. Yeah, we've also spoken about how fucking harmful that was. Now, the very interesting thing that's kind of surrounded Letitia Wright is it does appear that potentially her people got involved, and she has not said a goddamn word since. That does not make it okay, and we should not forget the very, very concerning things that Letitia Wright said.
Yeah.
It makes me very, very sad because I adore her character. I wanted that. She could have been the whole next phase of the Marvel Universe for me, but no, get fucked.
This is like, we all know about Chris Pratt.
Yep.
But like, Chris Pratt doesn't say anything.
Right.
And so, there's nothing we can do. But we got you, Evangeline Lilly. We got you. You're not good.
Evangeline Lilly, you got you. You posted about it. How embarrassing for you that you couldn't even hide being a fuck as well as Chris Pratt. Come on. Come on.
So yeah, it's no good. That's no good.
I missed that. Can you catch me up on Letitia? Letitia Wright also spoke out against vaccines and simply was just a COVID denier.
Listen. I heard from somebody who heard from somebody who heard from their cousin that if you get the vaccine,
yeah,
your tongue swell up real big to the size of a human torso, and then you have to buy a ticket for it when you go on the plane. And I can't afford that. And that's why I'm against vaccines.
That's not, like, I don't want that to be taken out of context.
Take it out of context.
Don't
Make me
take
look
it
as
out of
dumb as
context.
hell. Like, that looks dumb as hell. That's just so stupid. It's so stupid.
I say this on my stream all the time, which is getting vaccinated statistically makes you approximately 69% hotter each dose. And that's just the math and that's the science. It's the medical baby.
It's the medical baby.
It's the medical baby.
That's the boss baby's little brother, the medical baby.
I don't know what to tell you. You can't fight science. Exactly. That's with each dose.
And that's
go
the
get
thing.
vaccinated. Go get boosted.
People don't understand. But people are unaware of their own vaccination records. That's the thing that's wild, is people are unaware of how many vaccines you get at birth in a hospital. People
ones that were already mandatory for you to attend school.
Yeah. Did you go to college? You got 3 vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3 vaccines. Have you traveled internationally? You've gotten vaccines. And that, when you bring these things up, this is the real problem, and this is why you can't platform these things. Because once you platform them, they're hard to get rid of. Evangeline Lilly came out afterwards and said, hey, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm against being forced to have a vaccine. To which everybody was like, who's forcing you? And also, even if we were, what's the issue with it? And that's the thing. That's when you start getting into like real deep rabbit hole misinformation that gets weirder and weirder and weirder.
Yeah. H.G. Wells, I hear you that you say you are pro-vaccine, but I'm going to tell you one time what we don't do in our chat is defend people who are not. We don't give them the benefit of the doubt. People are dying. We don't give them like, well, I see their side of the story. No, people are fucking dying, actually. So, not here.
Yeah, and also, what mandate?
What mandate?
What mandate? Anyway.
Being anti-vaccination in a scenario where other people are dying because you refuse to fucking do any actual research or listen to the actual authority on it. Get fucked. Absolute fuck.
People have to be on set with her.
Right, because there's like no consequence for you potentially. You could go your whole life without getting COVID potentially, without the vaccine. But you could fucking kill a bunch of other people, or you might get it and have a light case, but kill an elderly person.
Here's why she's protesting this and why she's being so public about it. She finished Quantumania.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. It's done. And she doesn't want, now that she doesn't have to deal with it, she can be like, I'm against it.
Right. What are they going to do? Take me out of the movie?
They can't take me out of the movie now. It's done. And the problem is pushing this idea that there are mandates and people are being forced is just pushing even more misinformed protest against something that doesn't exist and is really making huge issues for people. I mean, I know people in certain areas of the country where if they walk around in a mask, they get screamed at.
Now, Hardliner, I think, said something really interesting and said, with all due respect, why isn't Paul Rudd speaking out? I do agree, actually. I think that as all of these Marvel performers are speaking out and other just performers in the space, It is very interesting to see the most influential person in relation to her not say anything. But also, Paul Rudd's a very neutral white man that wins awards for being a neutral white man.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is Paul Rudd has not ever publicly gone on the record about anything. Like, if you watch every interview with Paul Rudd is very good at being, he's charming, he's fun, he's funny, he doesn't say anything, and then he disappears. He's very good at being a movie star. And so when people are like, I'm surprised Paul Rudd hasn't spoken out, I'm like, I don't remember Paul Rudd ever speaking out about anything.
That's the thing, is I don't expect that. And like, here's something I've experienced a lot as like someone who's worked with a lot of white men. There's a lot of people like, well, maybe he agrees. And maybe he very much doesn't. But the amount of white men,
I don't think he does,
that I have worked with at various places that have sat by and watched like massive injustices happen and then didn't say anything because they've never really had to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to having to be the person that has to back someone up at HR when something happened in front of them. They're not used to having to speak out on social media because their rights are in danger. So things just pass on by, and that is honestly just almost as harmful, is just being the person with all of the privilege to say something who doesn't have to and doesn't say it.
Well, and while we're here, we might as well talk about Joey Rogues. We might as well talk about Joey Rogues. Joe Rogan, of course, is a fucking dummy. That's allegedly he's a fucking dummy. He seems like a dummy.
An absolute piss baby.
Joe Rogan
baby Rogan
has made his entire career off of being the guy the guy at the party who asks the most annoying questions. Do you know what I mean? He's the guy at the party that's
I'm just asking questions.
I'm just asking questions. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you asking this right now? Why are you doing this? Basically, he had two MDs on his show. One of them was involved with initial RNA research for vaccinations. He was a very junior level member of the team, and he was asked to leave the team. And things that he's published since then have been debunked, retracted, not survived peer review. But Joe Rogan, of course, has him on his show and just asks questions, right? You've probably seen all this. And in response to Joe Rogan's basically entire philosophy, which is, well, I just ask questions. It's not my job to be responsible. I'm just having a conversation.
Yes, it is. Fuck you. Like, look, we're not by any means subtle on our opinions of Joe fucking Rogan here.
Yeah,
man,
it's his job. The bigger and bigger your platform gets, the more responsibility. Listen, all I've had is some high school and some college journalism classes, and that's it. And I know the basic levels of responsibility.
I'll also say, though, like, his responsibility is particularly high because of the content. You know, at the end of the day, a Minecraft YouTuber who sits down and plays Minecraft does not have the same level of responsibility, even with the same level of influence. The content that you are benefiting from, the money you are making off of the backs of the people who listen to your show, are people who are being influenced by your opinions because you are an opinion-based show.
Yeah. This is where the Evangeline Lillies of the world come from. So there was a huge protest of Joe Rogan and what he puts on his show. And in response, Joni Mitchell and Neil Young removed their catalogs from Spotify. Now, you may say to yourself, okay, well, my mom can't work Spotify anyway. What does that matter? But here's the deal. The moment they did that, Spotify lost $2 billion worth of valuation. Now, here's something interesting. They paid Joe Rogan $100 million for his podcast.
Yep.
That was his deal. He made $100 million for his podcast where he tells people to just eat protein powder and sleep in ice baths.
Yep.
And take vitamin C to stop genetic diseases or whatever the fuck it is he does. It's terrible. It's terrible. So Spotify has put not just $100 million into Joe Rogan, Now they put $2.1 billion into Joe Rogan.
Correct. And at what point does that still remain worth it? Because I hope not for long.
Well, and what happened is Joe Rogan posted a video.
Yep.
He posted a video. Not
a half-ass bullshit fucking it's not my fault video.
Yeah. So the CEO of Spotify was like, it's all kind of within this is all within our procedures and our policies. They're not really. And then everybody's like, fuck you. Neil Young leaves. Joni Mitchell leaves. Brene Brown says, I have 2 podcasts that are Spotify exclusive and I'm just not going to make them anymore. And let's see what happens. So finally, Joe Rogan puts out a video where he's like, the Spotify brought up some interesting things and I think they're fine. They want to put a warning on the beginning of podcasts. All podcasts. All podcasts that have to do with COVID that say basically like, hey, these could be controversial views. Check with a physician. Blah blah blah. Number one, Spotify. That's nothing. That's literally nothing. Saying this has to do with COVID, so check with your doctor before you do anything.
Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to be like, oh, wait, hold on. Actually. Hello, doctor.
Hello, this is your physician.
I'm about to listen to an episode of the Joe Rogan podcast.
Jesus Christ. No, I'm sending an ambulance. I'm sending an ambulance immediately.
Okay, I'm clicking play.
No, don't click play.
It's like 40 minutes.
Don't hang up. We need to trace the call.
Fuck off.
Listen.
Those warnings do nothing.
Nobody
calls their doctor before they listen to Joe Rogan.
Yo.
I don't know how long. Look, I don't know how long an episode of Joe Rogan is.
How many torrents have you downloaded that begin with the FBI warning not to do torrents? You know what I mean? Like, come on. So he comes out and he says, listen, we're going to put these warnings in the beginning. And also, there are things that I could be doing better. Like, if I have somebody on with views that lean in one way, I should have somebody else on kind of soon after them with views that lean. You mean anybody with respected views at all?
That's the thing, is people specifically who listen to the Joe Rogan podcast are not going to call their doctors. Because the kind of people who would be like, hey, I'm worried about disinformation, weren't listening to Joe Rogan in the first place.
They're just gonna invest in crypto and do DMT and not care about the women in their lives.
Somebody in our chat said Dogecoin 2022.
Dogecoin!
Oh yeah, man. Fucking M&Ms, okay? Plastic remotes 2022. Anything's currency. Make it up. Piss coin, piss baby. I don't know what to fucking tell you.
So
real money, made up. Fake money, even more made up. Double fake.
So some moves have been made here. Certainly not enough. I would love to see this guy deplatformed. One thing that's been kind of nice, in all honesty, for the most part, is by going to Spotify, for a while, Joe Rogan was actually losing influence. Because by putting him behind a paywall on a service, it was actually limiting his audience because it's a bunch of fuckboys that don't want to pay for podcasts. So, like, he was getting limited. But then, and this is why his odd golly gee, I'm just asking questions thing is such a ruse. He takes the time to understand what episodes are going to cause the most controversy.
Yep.
He puts a lot of time into that. He knows what guests are going to bring people beyond that Spotify paywall.
Yep.
He knows that bringing on a fucking crackpot that worked on RNA once 40 years ago as a fucking junior science cadet, bring him on to say, hey man, just take the horse paste. He knows that's going to get the numbers.
Piss off. And you know what? Also, fuck you to Joe Rogan, like, sympathizers.
Oh, yeah.
You know what sucked this week? And then I think we have some good news, I promise. This one fucking sucked to me. This was a comment from The Rock. We've talked before on this show about how The Rock is kind of the good boy of Hollywood. And The Rock commented on Joe Rogan's not apology and just, well, I guess everyone has to be warned when we're going to talk about COVID, and said, great stuff here, brother. Perfectly articulated. Look forward to coming on one day and breaking out the tequila with you.
That was The Rock responding to Joe Rogan's shitty... What?
Not apology.
What?
He did not apologize once in it.
Shitty non-apologize. Like, what? The Rock, come on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, The Rock, and this is the thing.
No one is safe. Nothing is sacred.
Nothing is sacred. This is why the Paul Rudds of the world don't speak. They're too smart. They're too smart to speak. Regardless of whatever their opinions are, it's craftiness. It's self-preservation smartness. You know what I mean? It's not intelligence like, no, I'm going to say the right thing because this is what you do for the world.
I disagree with that too.
It's a self-serving intelligence. I think it is.
I think it's not a self-serving intelligence. I think there is a self-preservation instinct that is just simply not contested in the way that the rest of ours is by empathy. That's it. Everybody has a self-preservation instinct. Mine is contested by empathy and a care for other human beings. And men with that much privilege simply don't have that.
That's fair.
It is a lack of empathy because they haven't been forced into situations that made them see other people as human beings in a way that, like, people who have actually suffered oppression have to truly understand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
A way that he just doesn't understand because it just literally doesn't affect him. He is untouched by it. I don't think that it's an intelligent, I'm really playing the game here. It's just I don't know, that just doesn't really sound like my problem. Because sure, Paul Rudd, it isn't your problem. That's true. But other people are impacted by a care for someone maybe less fortunate's problem or someone with less privilege's problem. So get fucked to the quiet white guys of the world, you know?
Oh, absolutely get fucked to the quiet white guys of the world.
You know.
I think we're getting there in two different ways, but I think we have the same conclusion.
We both agree get
whatever,
fucked to the quiet white guys of the world.
Yeah, I think we both agree that, like, Paul Rudd, like,
I don't think they deserve that much credit.
You should be saying something.
Mm-hmm. I just don't think they deserve that much credit. That's
I don't
all.
think I was giving him much credit. I don't think I was giving him much credit at all.
All right, we have some good stuff, I promise. Let's get to some good stuff. Let's talk about what we don't talk about.
Bruno!
Y'all, it's finally happened. Encanto is #1 on the Billboard's Hot 100 with We Don't Talk About Bruno.
The song they thought was not going to take off.
That true?
Yeah.
They thought We Don't Talk About Bruno wasn't going to hit?
They thought it wasn't going to be the hit.
I mean, like,
they thought the ballad was going to be the hit, the lullaby.
Interesting.
That's why they submitted it for the awards.
Wow. Which is, like, I think this speaks to very heavily TikTok's influence on the Hot 100 because TikTok has continually manipulated those top charts in every way for the past 2 years. And this is no exception to that. This just got put into the rotation in the same way that other songs have, that Doja Cat was blown up through TikTok for, that Olivia Rodrigo was.
Mm-hmm.
This is just on the same cycle. A Disney song made it into the same TikTok cycle. And I think that shows a huge level of influence because everybody was making videos with this song.
And I think it's that it's the first current Disney song because a lot of Disney songs trend on TikTok and become huge on TikTok or become trends on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them are like currently on sale, currently up for awards, currently on the Billboard. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I will say, the We Don't Talk About Bruno trend was much, much larger than it,
It's big.
It's larger than any of these other Disney songs I have seen get on TikTok. By far. It was just one of those things where it, like, became a pop culture conversation, even if you hadn't seen Encanto, which, like, a lot of Disney songs don't, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Unless they've been out since you were a child, right?
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying is like this is the first one where it's like, oh shit, it's blowing up, and it's at a time where we need it to be blowing up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a huge deal. And it's done a lot for the song. I still haven't seen the movie, and the song is everywhere. Everybody is singing the song.
Yeah, you should watch the movie.
I know I should watch the movie.
James Plays Games. Now is not a great time for us to get into that. Thank you for asking about kind of some advice on how to not be one of the quiet white guys. I think the answer is right there. Don't be.
Yeah, just
don't be.
Just say if you see somebody saying something wrong, speak up. And if you see somebody doing something wrong, speak up.
And if you're in a position of privilege to amplify a marginalized person's struggle, story, experience, then please do. That's it. It's shockingly easy.
A real if it's sort of a fear of how you will be perceived, one thing that's important to know is you are being perceived at all times, regardless of what you do. And people don't always share with you the way that you are perceived, but if you're not speaking up and you're not doing the right thing, people notice.
That's true.
So they're perceiving that as well. The other thing is fucking nothing matters. Nothing matters about your self-image and whatever. So just say and do the right thing.
And also,
there
are a lot of people that that's opinion of you will be highly raised by doing so.
Yeah, I'm a big sort of nihilist absurdist, but nihilism and absurdism doesn't mean you don't do the right thing. It just means like, oh, you might as well do the right thing. You might as well do the right thing at all times. That's all.
That's all. Anthony, we're out of time. Can you believe it?
Forever.
The vibes were so strong today that we just got to only maybe like half of the stories that we had, but that's okay. We do got to get running, so let's wrap this shit up. Hey, Anthony, when you're not here, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific, or Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific, for Failed Save, where are you?
Well, on Wednesdays, you can catch me on Kind of Funny along with Saige doing the Kind of Funny screencast for Book of Boba Fett. Man, we only got 2 weeks left.
Yeah, this week and next week.
And this week was a wild one.
Yes, it was.
In addition, you can find me everywhere on the internet at Carboni, except for here on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni. Twitch, cowards, it's mine. Give it back to me. And also my science comedy podcast, We Have Concerns with Jeff Canadas, which is every Friday. So that's at wehaveconcerns.com. The moment we said the show was ending, all of my faux energy went away.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it dropping. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. Just stream on my channels Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. There will be no Saturday stream this week, but I will be live tonight continuing Man of Medan, doing something spooky. When it comes to conversation topics like how to not be a quiet white guy, that's most of what my stream is. Most of what we talk about is how to not suck. At the end of the day, I used to be a gaming streamer.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
Don't worry about yourself so much. Don't worry about how you're perceived.
Most of what I talk about is that now. So come on by. You can also find me on the Black Dice Society tomorrow. And then Friday, for Failed Save at 7 p.m. Pacific, our ongoing D&D 5e campaign in person, where we all get to hug and hold hands while we play. It is the 4th season. It is the first season of the new campaign. It's very easy to jump in if you have not caught up to this point. And all the episodes are available as a podcast if you're looking for something to catch up on. We'd love that very much. You can also find me on Smosh Games all the damn time. A new video just went up where I guessed about memes, and I did a pretty good job.
First of all, congrats.
Thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who supported us during today's show. We love and appreciate you so very much. It's so cool of you to do this.
Yeah. Listen, we know that a lot of you already support the show, whether you've already followed, subscribed, joined the Discord, tweet about the show, share clips, all of that stuff. We know you're out there. We know you're around. But we want to give a big thank you to people who specifically directly supported us during the show today.
Roll call!
Thank you, Jesse PB, for the tip saying keep down on that sugar breakfast. Thank you, Ronan Monkey, for the tip saying it's an odd vibe today, fixing the number to match. Also for coffee later, thank you. We got a very generous anonymous tip, so thank you for that. Alonzo Armad, 17 months. Shout out to all the mods. Shout out to Alonzo for 17 months. Emperor Kialich with the resub for 9 months. You're on an 8-month streak. That's a large chunk of time. Thank you so much. Run a Monkey, another mod with the tip saying 5-day new goals.
It's the first show of the month. New goal.
Lawrence with the resub for 3 months. Eternal Space Girl for 11 months. Lee Green Griffin, 13 months. That's what we call a Pixel Circus year because it's spookier than a regular year. Ooh.
Ariel the Third, for 9 months. Thank you. Said 9 months of living that Pixel Circus high life. Thank you so much. That's David Dragon. Fuck.
David the Dragon zine writer or David the Dargan zine writer.
That's where it gets me every time.
Bebop Badger with the sub. David Dave Boy gifting 2 subs. John Doe 64 giving.
We are caught up.
We're caught up.
We're caught up.
And Harry gifting a sub at the
Harry,
last moment.
You don't have to do that.
Harry
Thank
Horror
you,
Show.
Harry Horror Show, friend of the channel, host of the One Time on the Internet podcast.
May it rest in peace.
It's all available on podcast platforms, though. Go back and listen to it. We love you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care of yourselves. You deserve it. Thank you for starting your morning with us, and we will see you on Friday.
Is it true that One Time on the Internet was asked to leave Spotify?
No, I'll pull it, though. With all of that One Time on the Internet influence, I'll pull it over Joe Rogan.
That's right. Neil Young and One Time on the Internet. Checkmate.